Our next inductee was a standout runner on the track team and excelled as a wide receiver at Jesuit and the University of Notre Dame. Please direct your attention to the screen as we introduce, from the class of 2000, Omar Jenkins.
Omar Jenkins from the class of 2000. A talented wide receiver with speed to burn, Omar Jenkins developed into one of the top high school football players in Texas while helping lead Jesuit Dallas to back-to-back TCIL state championships in 1998 and 1999. Jenkins earned TCIL All-State honors at the end of both seasons and was elected Team MVP and TCIL Offensive Player of the Year following his senior campaign. Jenkins also shined on the track as a senior, where he was the TCIL state champion in the 400 meters, the 4x400 meter relay, and the 4x100 meter relay. Following graduation, Jenkins accepted a football scholarship to the University of Notre Dame. He made an immediate impact on the Fighting Irish, emerging as only one of two freshmen to log game day action on the offensive side of the ball, including the 2001 Fiesta Bowl.
Holiday looking, throwing, pass intended for Jenkins, got it! Touchdown, Omar Jenkins! Oh, his family's going to be so happy. Omar Jenkins, over the shoulder grab.
Entering his final year as Notre Dame's top receiver, Jenkins was elected as a team captain prior to the season. At the time of his graduation, he was 18th all-time on Notre Dame's receiving list. Jenkins has also used his success and skills to give back to the community. In 2013, he coordinated a football minicamp for Dallas-based Youth World, a nonprofit organization that helps children and teens from low-income environments achieve success in education, personal talents, and goals.
He is not only a fabulous football player from his years at Jesuit, he went on and did great things at Notre Dame, and more importantly, he was just a class act. I mean, Omar, I always talk about Omar and how he was a superstar, but he never acted like a superstar.
Omar was an incredible athlete when he was here at Jesuit, really hard worker. He was a quiet leader for us. He definitely led by example. His work ethic off the field and his play on the field really spoke for him. Unbelievable route runner, pass catcher. I had the privilege of getting to play with Omar since our days in grade school at St. Rita, and certainly more than a few times he saved me either making a diving catch or battling a defensive back for a catch.
This is a funny story and a true story. Omar was going to Stanford and kind of told me, "You don't need to call me if anybody else comes calling." And so I didn't until Urban Meyer from Notre Dame showed up, and I called Omar and I said, "Hey, I've got Urban Meyer in my office." And before I could say, "Do you want me to tell him no thanks?" he said, "I'll be right there."
I think Jesuit's honoring Omar because of what he did on the field and what he stands for off the field. Certainly, he's his time here at Jesuit, he helped the Rangers to back-to-back state championships. He was part of a team where there were lots of guys that went on to play at the next level, and he got to play really, at the highest level. Not only that, but what he did, and what he stood for, I think off the field as well. He's a well-rounded person. He was certainly at Jesuit, and I know he continues to be as he's graduated from Jesuit and Notre Dame.
He was head and heels above the rest of us when he got to Notre Dame. I think, again, a part of his training at Jesuit or his experience at Jesuit is they were able to take him to a level that some of us at our high schools weren't able to get to just because of what they value there, obviously academically and on the gridiron.
All right, so freshman year when we came in, we became a part of the Notre Dame wide receiver group, which had called themselves under Urban Meyer America's Finest Receivers on Saturday, known as the Afros. And as far as that goes, I mean, Omar was the greatest of the Afros. Not only was he great on the field, but he was also great off the field. And he's also become just a great man and father and husband to his wife, Amber, who also is awesome.
Omar, congratulations on your induction in the Sports Hall of Fame. I'm happy for you. It's well deserved. And best of luck to you.
Omar, congratulations on being inducted into the Dallas Jesuit High School Sports Hall of Fame from the last group of Afros at Notre Dame. Congrats, bud.
Omar, congrats on being inducted to the Sports Hall of Fame at Jesuit. You've done great things in your life so far, and I know you're going to do many great more. Make sure you get those little boys of yours to Jesuit, because they're going to be married to my daughters. So I'm going to need them to be the same type of caliber of men that you are.
Congratulations to Omar Jenkins from the class of 2000.
So I have a speech, and my wife told me not to change anything about it, but I'm going to anyway. So, first of all, Kenny, I'm going to get you a picture of me catching that ball of that Michigan guy, so you can have that, take that home for you. First, though, on a serious note, I want to say thank you so much for this honor. Thank you to the coaches, and I know Coach Wonderlick is sitting there right behind me, and thank you for everything that you've done for me. Before I continue, I'm going to try not to cry. I probably will at some point, so forgive me for that. But I also want to thank my teammates, both at Jesuit. There's a bunch of guys back there. Thank you for everything you've done for me. And my teammates at Notre Dame. I have two with me here and another one in the back also. So thank you, guys. I also want to thank my family for the support, the sacrifices, and the love that you've blessed me with. It's been incredible. Thank you very much. The reality is I can't thank everybody. The list is too long. There's so many people who are responsible for my standing here today, but there's one person who really sets the foundation for how I'm here today. That person, who I believe is my father, Louis, and that's why I had him present the jacket to me. I'm going to tell you a story. See, I can't even talk. I'm going to tell you a short story about my dad, and the reason for that is because without that, me standing here doesn't happen. Both my parents grew up in the deep South Louisiana, and needless to say, things were never really easy. My dad was one of 9, my mom was one of 6. They didn't have much, but if you ask them, they had everything they needed. Nothing more, but they survived. They had love, they had family, they had each other. My mom grew up in Prairieville, Louisiana. My dad was on Hillaryville, Louisiana. They met in the middle. They both went to East Ascension High School. They were high school sweethearts. It just so happens that I married my high school sweetheart, Amber, and I can't believe I'm following in their footsteps. I tried not to, but it happened anyway. Another thing that was special about them, they were the first class to integrate that high school in Louisiana. And to hear the stories of that time, the challenges they faced, it's something I'll never forget. And it's something that I still hold with me today. My dad ended up being the star running back at East Ascension. And from all reports, he was nothing but spectacular. And my grandparents had a newspaper article that they had framed on the wall. And according to what I read, his feet moved so fast, they looked like a blur. And I'm not even going to lie, he could actually beat me in a foot race probably until I was about 16. He was that fast, or either I was that slow, however you want to call it. But whenever we would go visit my grandparents, that was always the first thing I would go see. He doesn't know this, but I would read that article and imagine what it would be like to watch him play and just hope one day that I was as good as he was. Now look, I just told you, I didn't get my dad's speed. My brother got that, and that's probably why some of you here used to call me Slow Mark. I know Bob's brother actually called me Slow Mark, and in fact, my freshman year, it was, oh, don't throw it to Slow Mark. I don't know what happened between my freshman year and my senior year. I guess I hit puberty. You know, Phil, you mentioned you hit it late, and I think it's safe to say I did too, but I hit it, and I tell you, when I hit it, Coach Wunderlich will tell you, it worked out for me. Oh, and one other thing, Coach Wunderlich, tell your brother, I'll never forget, because he was the one who called me Slow Mar all the time. But back on my dad, though, he was always pushing me to be the best in every aspect of life, both on and off the field. And that's what I brought with me to Jesuit. That drove me to be at the school early in the morning, 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. before classes. I would be there doing early morning workouts with guys like King Cone and George Perry. We would try to do these crazy workouts King found in some muscle and fitness magazine. 4 sets of squat, 200 pounds for 75 reps each set. The stupidest stuff, right, that you could think of. But we tried because we thought it would make us better. But, believe it or not, it may have just a little bit. I don't know. And then from there, listen, you'll get a kick out of this. I would wear ankle weights because it was in the magazine, right? The magazine said if you wear ankle weights during the day, it might make you faster. And so I said, I'm going to get faster. And I would wear these ankle weights and nothing happened. But King found it in the magazine, so it must work, right? But we pushed each other in those workouts, and we actually became better for it. We were even smart enough, if you want to use that word, or brave enough to spot Thomas Derricks when he was in the weight room. Thomas would squat every single weight that he could find at one time. It took all 3 of us to spot him every time he wanted to do a different exercise. Somehow we did it, I don't know. The bars would be bending. We would be fearing for our life if it snapped, but it never did. So that was one of the greatest memories that I think that I've ever had. But after the workouts, after the classes, I had the privilege of practicing in Margaritaville with Coach Owen, a.k.a. Coach O. As many of you know, it was always 10 degrees cooler in Margaritaville. There was never a practice we didn't have fun with Coach O, and I'll never forget it. So I'm grateful for all the coaches, because without them believing in me and putting me in a position to succeed, I wouldn't be here today. And of course, I'm grateful for my teammates. Football is the ultimate team sport. It takes all 11 men on the field to line up, execute one play, do it all over again, and then do it again, even with more reckless abandon for our bodies, all for 7 points. Without them, without us working together for over 4 years, none of this would be happening. So to embarrass the guys that are here that were my teammates, could you guys please stand up? Because I owe you guys an ovation for helping me over my time. So even though I'm the one standing here tonight, I'm well aware that it's the result of the combined efforts of every person that I've had the honor to call my teammate, both at Jesuit and Notre Dame. And one other thing I want to say before I end, and hopefully you guys have been able to withstand my few minutes of mumbling and rumbling over my speech. But I implore everyone who's been impacted by Jesuit to come back, to be involved, become a presence in the Jesuit community today. There are so many young men, like my sons, Omar and Roman. I want to make sure that they have the ability and the opportunity to continue to have the opportunity to become men for others, like the Jesuit community did for us. So when you leave tonight, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do to make Jesuit better? One small thing can make such a big difference in somebody's life that it can change the outcome of what they think they can do to what really can happen. And a lot of kids just need one thing that will push them in the right direction. So I implore you to please come back, be involved, and become a presence. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Omar Jenkins.